I think he just wasn't up to it. There's no question in my mind for what went wrong. We have all sorts of excuses. We can say that there was a bad day, cold medicine, everything you can think of. But the performance was not a bad debate performance. It was terrible. He fell apart completely. He couldn't answer one sentence. He couldn't put one thought together. He couldn't come back with one thing that Trump said. It was a total disaster. And any attempt at damage control, I'm afraid, is very problematic at this point, because it's not so much, yes, he's better than Trump for a million different reasons. Yes, Democrats would prefer him than Trump. He might possibly win against Trump at this point. Very unlikely at this point. The reality is, if it's such an important election, the time has come for him to understand the fact that at 81 years old, to begin with, he was too old to run for re-election. Democrats mostly understand that. I'm, together on Twitter with various people and hearing back and forth. The rank and file all understand that. The political leadership is still sort of holding back a little bit. What they're saying in private, we have no idea. But the argument that's being made, like Kamala Harris made, yes, the difference is tremendous. Yes, it's the most important election. Okay, you take those two things. What comes next? We need a solution. It's difficult at the moment. Finding a solution right now will be a bit chaotic, to say the least, because there's only really two possibilities. He has to agree to step aside, which, as we all know, when we have elderly parents, it's very hard to convince them to give up the car or whatever else it might be. It's very hard to tell someone who's the most powerful person in the world, I'm sorry, you're too old, you can't do this again. Maybe you can keep on doing it, but you can't be elected. He's had a history of always coming back. That's sort of part of his motto. I always come back. They always underestimate me. But there's some things we just don't come back from. We get older all the time. And the question the American people are going to ask, okay, this was this night. Maybe it was only one night. Maybe it's not going to happen for another few weeks. But he's going to get older. And you don't get better as you get older in these circumstances. So it's really going to be up to him to decide to step aside. And the Democrats, if he does that, will have a chaotic period. Right. They'll have to choose between a couple of different possibilities. They'll be fighting within the party. But in the end, I think they'll come together with somebody. All the polls show that a generic Democrat beats Trump. So it's Biden who doesn't because of the age issue.